I am Mark Ramsey. I'm talking to JD Halprin. I am really excited to talk to him, not only because he's my good friend, but also because he is the
Thanks.
CEO and founder of something super exciting called AGOGO. JD, you're in the App Store. You must be so incredibly stoked right now.
You know what? We have been in the weeds, in the thick of it, building this for going on 2 years. And we took a lot of knowledge from prior startups and a lot of puddles we had stepped into in the past. And we're super excited to show this to people and get consumers on it and get feedback from publishers and let it see the light of day.
Well, I am really excited about myself. I've been playing with it and I love it. AGOGO, it's an audio app, but it's not like any other audio app that's out there right now. Will you explain what AGOGO is?
We hope so. Well, AGOGO is just the single best way to consume audio programming. And we've optimized AGOGO for the on-the-go consumer, that person who's driving a car or walking down the street or running on a treadmill or anywhere else, that person who would otherwise have to futz with a device. But what we've said about AGOGO is this. AGOGO has been given life through our frustration with the traditional platforms. We love programming, but radio and satellite radio, despite the fact that satellite radio has attracted 25 million paid subs, it just doesn't serve us in this modern world. It doesn't serve our desire for continually updated programming and for a broad range of sources and for something that's personalized and for, if you're not into, male testosterone spots, it doesn't serve us. And nothing on the web, no app, everything on the web are these silos. I have my Spotify here in this app. I have my Pandora here. I have my Wall Street Journal app, and I have all these apps. Well, I drove around the country doing product research for 12,000 miles of just thinking about this, and I nearly killed myself and a lot of other people in the process. So AGOGO makes it all easy.
Okay.
Our mission is one touch.
Let's break this down, because when you talk about audio content, there will be people who say, well, that's radio, or that's satellite radio, or that's Pandora. And the answer is, no, it's not any of those alone. It's all of those together. And when you talk about not only that, but it's content forms that don't exist in audio right now, that you're making audio by the app. And what you're doing, and I think this is the most interesting part, you're taking you kind of indicated what it was. You're taking it out of these silos, you're taking it out of these channels, if you will, and you're going across channels. And you're creating an experience which integrates all this stuff in such a way as you can get it on your terms, your way, right?
Right. So, one thing that I grew up with radio. I love radio. But there's a whole generation of people who access this stuff and they don't use a radio to get it. When I was on the board of KCRW, we have this product that radio didn't seem like the right term. Radio was a delivery platform, right? And so we also found from talking to people that radio or audio, they were limiting, where we said, you know what, there's certain things that aren't available as audio at all that we'll add text to speech to. There's other things that are available as video, but you could have a great experience listening to those things, right? So we make those things available. There's other things that are in premium services that we tie in through APIs and different technology so that you can have it all together. And then we built a discovery engine on top of it to connect the dots, create connective tissue between all these great pieces of programming.
Now, one might assume by listening to what you just said that we're talking about 100% spoken word content, as it were, but that's not true, is it?
Yeah, we try to make AGOGO like the brain, so that you think of something based on a cue, and you're able to then say, I'd like to listen to that. So we're launching with Spotify built into AGOGO, with RDO built into AGOGO. They're premium versions. We believe that great stuff people are willing to pay for, and we want to support that. So with a whole range of premium services. But you should be able to easily go back and forth between your music and spoken or spoken audio, or from spoken audio. So you're listening to an NPR All Things Considered, alt.latino, and that should generate a playlist that you're able to go right to through Spotify. You're listening to Leonard Cohen because he's in your music collection. We should be able to say, I want to hear programs about Leonard Cohen, and you hear that just today or just the other day, his Australian tour, which they're already claiming will be the last time he goes to Australia. I don't know if he is prescient about where over the next few years, but they've already decided it's his last time in Australia, and you can hear that. So
it's text to speech. It's music through those sources. It's you have the ability to actually, if you're listening to a Tom Petty song or something, you can swipe and all of a sudden, boom, there's an NPR program that has an interview with Tom Petty. So it's fully integrated. Again, it's by topic. It's across channels. It's so interesting. And what's great about it is it's built, as you kind of said, for the person who likes to consume content in a non-linear fashion, because so much of content is not only channel, but it's linear, right? It's,
right.
If I stream my radio station, it starts, begins, and ends the same way it does over the air, and it's one thing in one order, but not AGOGO.
So I heard from a person the other day who said, God, I really like to listen to the old school news hour from PBS, but I can't, it only airs on my public radio station at certain hours.
Right.
And AGOGO says, you know what, you should be able to listen to that whenever you want. Just hit your go. If it's one of those programs that you've added to your go, it will always be there. Okay? Or if it's on a subject you're interested in, maybe you're interested in what's happening in Egypt or Syria or somewhere else in the world, and you hit that button, it should, and they've published a piece on that, it should show up for you. So continual delight in providing to you programming that's relevant to your world. That's what we want, because we love this programming.
So there will be those who watch this and say, but wait, isn't that Stitcher? Isn't that the Apple Podcast app? But the answer is no, right? Explain that.
Well, we think that Stitcher has done a good job in getting out there early and creating something, but AGOGO's actually far broader than any of these other things, and this connective tissue of bringing in, whether it's traffic services from Clear Channel, or bringing in all of these different music services, or bringing in sports services. So much broader, much more nonlinear in terms of segments and going from one segment to another based on your interests. Much more personalized, not in the way that we don't try to guess what it is. Hey, Mark, you listen to this, so obviously you want to hear everything about, because you like SeaWorld, we think you'll like Disneyland. We worry about people. I will always worry with people saying, don't try to figure me out like that.
You're wrong.
Right? See?
Absolutely right.
Because you like Disneyland, you'll like SeaWorld, and you're like, I don't like SeaWorld.
Here's what's so great about this. I spent a lot of time trying to convince radio broadcasters when they sweat about what's going to be in the dashboard of cars and so on. I try and spend a lot of time convincing them, look, if you have compelling and unique content, you won't have to worry about the dashboard of cars, because your content, wherever it is, will flow into whosever platform it flows into.
That's
and
right.
Into the ears of the consumer that's interested in that. And you've got a perfect example. I use your app, and all of a sudden, boom, up pops KCBS.
Right.
There's radio content right there in your app.
So I do have to say this. We've spent a long time and a lot of care curating the programming that's in AGOGO. Just to be clear, AGOGO doesn't go out and search the open web. We look at sources within different categories and channels, and we say, you know what, if we want to create the best books programming about books and literature and publishing, the best channel for that, who are the most important sources that we go to? And we find that, guess what? This public radio station or the BBC or PBS or C-SPAN, when you add all these things together, you create something that's really amazing, whether it's politics, sports, publishing, and a whole range of different sources. We created a channel that's just about people who've recently deceased and the biographies that we can provide. So it's really fascinating that I was driving to New York a couple days ago, and there was an NPR show on the new Showtime television show, Masters of Sex, that I channeled, because with AGOGO, we channel your world. I channeled. It led me to profiles of Masters and Johnson and an obituary from KPCC talking about Johnson, of the Masters and Johnsons, passing away last year and what she stood for. I learned an incredible amount, more than I'd ever known about Masters and Johnson, all from a show talking about a Showtime show.
That's a perfect illustration of the app. Anyway, I love the app. It's in the App Store now. It's called AGOGO. The beauty of this thing is that it changes the definition of audio entertainment and information. It's not Stitcher. It's not the podcast app. It's not your radio station streaming app. It's not Pandora. It's something altogether different. So all kudos to you.
Thank you so much, Mark, and we're really excited to have you and other people using it and telling us what they think. And this is, version 1 of AGOGO. We'll get better and better and better and better. So
the site's agogo.com. Find it in the App Store, and coming for Android?
Coming for a number of platforms will be coming, and we also have a really nice web dashboard where you can listen to your history and see your favorites and share programming with your friends.
This is what radio should be. JD, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mark.